After teleporting away, Raven found herself in what appeared to be an abandoned church, along with Sebastian and the 5 others that had come to assist him. Of course, she had a lot on her mind. First and foremost, Rainier. How the hell are you still alive? You're supposed to be dead, and I should know. I killed you. Yeah, Rainier would say. I was there, and I remember, painfully. You better start making sense, or else I'll make sure I do it again. And this time, there won't be any piece of you left. Now, Raven. There's no need to get so worked up. And what do you have to do in all of this? Who are these people? Sebastian, what's going on? I'll explain everything to you. You think I'd bring you all the way out here just to lie? Okay, point taken, Sebastian would say in the silence. Look, when it comes to Rainier, she's a part of the team, but I assure you, she's not in control. Raven heard a new voice, as she heard the creaking of wood in the shadows, and out walked a puppet dressed like a king. He was about 3 feet in size, a rather large puppet, no bigger than, say, the average toddler. What the hell is... Do you like my handiwork? He said as he held what appeared to be a puppet's controller. Rainier here is one of my humble servants. Rainier's face shifted a little, as if she were disgusted with what was going on. Make no mistake about it, the puppet would say. You did kill Rainier, that much is certain. But with my sacred gear, the dead become my puppets. And I was just so fond of her and what she could do, I decided to use her for my own means. But make no mistake, I am the one in control here. Watch. Rainier's eyes shifted from worry to panic, looking on as the Puppet King would press a button on the controller and her body would fall limp. And one of the lights on the controller would begin to glow, a dark violet. This is her soul. It's trapped within my controller. I can take it in and out as I please. The body that you see is just something that's reconstituted. Not her original, but something a lot more durable. I have to give credit to Azazel. He's always coming up with wacky inventions. And when you get your hands on them, creating a powerful and durable artificial body that can contain a soul, well, it comes in handy for a trick like mine. So you control the dead then, Raven would say, in a roundabout way of speaking. But it only matters if they have an artificial body or something to go into. Otherwise, it's all useless. This is Puppet King, Sebastian would say. He's a member of my team. We call ourselves the Crimson Six. As you know, this is Dr. Light. This is Malachor, Mother May I, Papa Midnight. So you're all the Crimson Six. And what exactly does this have to play in dealing with Trigon? I was just getting to that. You see, you and I, we're both a lot alike. Our mothers, kind but naive women, taken in by Trigon and his lies, used to sire his children into the world. Children that become nothing more but conduits for him to escape. But the way I see it, if we're nothing more but a doorway, a door can open and lock on both sides. But what if you destroy the door? You destroy any chance of a new door ever being made. Sebastian would then pull from his pocket what appeared to be a crimson red amulet. It's called a blood amulet. It's an artificial sacred gear. It's been in the works now for well over 300 years. 300 years? You see, I am Sebastian the Ninth, but my forefather, Sebastian the First, he was the one that created the blood amulet. It has a distinct property, the ability to absorb and harness anyone's power once their blood is joined with it. The way I see it, if we are able to get Trigon's blood to spill upon it, it creates a magnetic effect. Any of Trigon's power, or all of it, it all goes inside of here. Every last drop, with no chance of escape. And you think that it would be that simple? But of course, because once it's activated, if Trigon ever tries to come back into this world by possession, the power that he's using to maintain that body, it immediately goes to the amulet. It seeks it out like a magnet. It frees the unwanted soul and the unlucky person who happens to get caught up in Trigon's schemes. And if Trigon were to ever come here himself, this would be his automatic death sentence. Something of this magnitude would kill him the moment he gets in vicinity with it, so he'd have to keep his distance. At the very least, we can guarantee that the earth will be protected, because he would never have the power to come back. That all sounds good, Raven would say, but you don't think it's going to be that simple. Trigon's an evil bastard. You really think he's going to go down to something like this? That's why we're working on the construction of a portal, Malachor would say. A portal where? To the dimension of Tartarus. We're going to confront Trigon head on. Either he comes to us or we go to him. And that would bring about the end of the world. You know that, right? You can't make an omelet without cracking a few eggs, and we're not just talking about a few. We're talking about thousands, millions even. And what other option do we have? We can either wait and see what happens, or we can take the fight to him. Think about it. You have power, far more than even you realize. If we join forces, us together, he wouldn't stand a chance. Don't you want to be free? Free of all of this? Free of constantly looking over your shoulders? Free of people constantly trying to use you? Always seeking you out for your power? I know what it's like. There was once a noble devil clan that tried to seek me. They adopted me. And at first I thought that I had found a loving home, but boy was I wrong. They only wanted me because of who my father was, believing that they could tap into that power. Sebastian said as he took off his shirt, revealing the puncture wounds, the scars, the stitches. Do you know what they did to me? They tried every which way to draw out Trigon's power within my body. Some methods were a lot more prestigious than others, but they were gruesome all the same. I survived, though. Eventually I escaped, but I learned an important lesson. I can't trust anyone in the world. In the end, I stopped being Sebastian, and I simply became the son of Trigon. It's been that way for you, hasn't it? From the day you were born, no one even considers you to be Rachel or Raven. You're just Trigon's daughter. You're just a ticking time bomb that everyone either wants to get rid of or use for their own ends. And while I'm sure Sir Zex may have good intentions, he is a clever king. Do you think it's a coincidence that issei boy happened to be where he was at that time? Or that you were placed in the care of the Gremory family? No, I can assure you. Anything they've done, it hasn't just been for your benefit, it's been for theirs. You are a golden ticket. You allow them to curry favor. Even in the underworld, don't you think that you would be considered a catch, a trophy to be had? The Gremory family, they get to show off that they've tamed the beast. And what's worse, you and I are never free. I know what you think, because I used to think like you. You probably had in your head that all you have to do is take your own life, and that'll stop Trigon's plans. Of course. What? Are you going to tell me that life is worth living even as Trigon's daughter? No, I'm not going to say that. But I am going to say that if you succumb to that type of logic, you're stupid. How so? Think about it. You're Trigon's daughter. That means a piece of him lives inside of you. Technically speaking, your body houses two souls, yours and Trigon's. Now, I might be a little off with my math, but if you have a house and two people live in that house, but one person dies, is the house suddenly unoccupied? Yeah. Are you finally starting to get it? Those thoughts of death, of ending it all, those aren't your thoughts, Raven. Those are Trigon's. You see, he likes to manipulate. He likes to play the mind games. First, there's the imminent threat, the threat of taking over while you're alive. It drives you insane. It drives you crazy. It drives you to madness. And it makes you think, if only I could end it all in one moment. I could end it. I could take away his satisfaction. And then you decide to take your life. But the moment you do, you give Trigon full control. A body with no one fighting against his will. Don't you understand? You're the key, the linchpin. Your death is not going to be what stops the apocalypse. Your death starts it. You're stronger than you think. And that's why he's afraid of us. Because we fight against that influence. We battle against him every day. We are the ones who are protecting the earth. Not the devil kings, not Michael, not Azazel, not any of the other deities. We are the ones who fight that fight. And they're too foolish to see it. That's why I need your help. If we can remove his influence, but take his power, we can do what even the great gods could not. We can kill Trigon, or make him subservient to us. But what then? Raven would ask. Let's just say you're right. Let's say we manage to do this. What happens then? We're just left with all of that power. What do we do with it? Because I'm sure that someone like you would know that even that much power would have to be corrupting. Who says that we have to keep it? We can send it away. We can do whatever we want. We're not looking to be praised or anything like that. All we're trying to do is save the world. And you and I are the keys to making it happen. So why not? Think about it, Raven. You'll save all your friends. the people who you care about. Don't do it for me. Don't do it for us. Do it for them. You owe it to them, don't you? For what it's worth, they have protected you all this time. How long are you going to keep being a liability? For Raven, she had a lot to think about. Could she actually trust him? Was he correct? Could they really stop Trigon here and now? In the meantime, back in Japan, while Issei was recovering, everyone else was taking to the news of the sudden disappearance of Raven and what transpired after. Of course, they had every reason to stand on guard, especially when Volley and Kuroka had arrived to their home with a beaten Issei who was bleeding from the back. It was only logical to assume the worst, but this was not their doing. Say what you want about me, Volley would say, but I would never be so cowardice as to strike someone from behind. That's not my style. I can fill you in on the details later, but right now, he needs your attention. Rias, Asia, and Akano were working overtime to heal Issei. Shair even used the power of the boosted gear to boost their strength, to give them the added power that they would need to undo the damage that had been done. Azazel and Sir Zex and Michael were brought up to speed on what had happened as well, and an emergency meeting was being called. And surprisingly enough, they had new guests that they were bringing along. It goes without saying, Azazel would say, but everything's changed. Constantine is on his way, and as for you, White Dragon Emperor, you're the guest of honor. If you don't mind, of course. Azazel, I've known you for a long time. If you're inviting me as a guest and not an enemy, then by all means, I'll listen to what you have to say. It's nice to see that you're actually being cordial. It's appreciated. It's the least I can do. Besides, things are about to get really interesting. I can tell. But what about Issei? He still needs to recover right now. Not just in terms of his fighting power, but also his spirit. As Issei would awaken in bed, he could feel his arms being held rather tightly. He looked to his left and saw that Asia had fallen asleep, and to his right was Akano. As he slowly stirred to get himself up, the girls who had been by his side through the whole time finally awoke themselves and immediately rushed to him with a hug. They were just happy to see that he was okay. And he was grateful to be alive and to see his friends. But right now, really wasn't in much of a good mood. As he made his way to the living room, he saw the others were waiting, Rias especially, although her demeanor was rather different as well. She was grateful that Issei was okay, that much was certain. As she walked over to him, she checked to make sure that he was fine, making sure that his vitals were good and that everything was stable. Once that was done, and a brief pause followed, so too did a slap in the face, right from Rias to Issei. For many in the room, they were shocked, but understandable to why she had done it, as now that look of concern turned to a look of anger. Issei, what the hell were you doing? When you saw that Raven was gone, why didn't you alert any of us? You just ran off on your own and almost got yourself killed. Really, Issei, what were you thinking? I'm glad that you're okay. Really, I am. But seriously, Who in the hell do you think you are? Well, say something, Rias, Kiba would say. I know that you're upset, and I'm beyond upset. We're supposed to be a team. And yet he's always doing this. Always trying to play solo. What? Do you think you're better than everyone else? You think you don't need any of us? You're a part of my parish, my household. I am your master. Yeah, I figure as much. What? You're my master, right? That means you own me. All I am is a fighter. What? You know, that's actually how Raven felt. She probably never felt like she was a part of us. That all she was a liability, something to watch after. A trophy. Issei, you didn't have to. But it doesn't matter now. You're right. I screwed up. But what else is new? It's a part of my nature, right? Because I can't do anything. I'm just Issei the dummy, Issei the loser, Issei the pervert. I'm just a wah. Seriously. Can you hear yourself right now? Oh, great. The drunken wizard graces us with his presence. Issei, there's no need to what? What, am I supposed to have respect for this guy? Respect. You go on and on about it 24/7. Well, guess what? I like staring at Zatanna's titties. Yeah, I said it. You got a death wish, boyo. Death wish. You know, a lot of people are always talking about how they're going to kill me. I want someone to try to follow up on it. I'll be happy to oblige you. Now that's enough, Azazel would say. From the both of you. No, Azazel. Why not? It's not like he's the first person to ever talk crap about me, right? Because everyone always wants to. Everyone always wants to take a shot at Issei. Well, now's your chance. Go on. Say it. I want you to. You're pathetic. You're a loser. That's what you are. You're a complete waste of space, Issei. And the saddest thing is, I expect more from someone like you. You want to know why I don't want you around my niece? John, Uncle, please, because, no, he needs to hear this. Because you're a liability. You just as soon get her and everyone else killed. And apparently, you did that in the future also. You're a screw-up. That's what you've always been. There's nothing special about you. Capri made a wrong choice when she gave you the scarab. Everyone goes on and on about the great Issei Hyodo. But personally, I don't see anything. I see a spoiled, selfish, entitled little brat who goes on and on about how he's going to be a man, and yet you're still living under your mama's tit. I would say that I have no respect for you, but that would imply that I had any respect to begin with. No. In this entire room, you are the only person that I do not acknowledge. I never will. You don't impress me. Nothing you do impresses me. I haven't liked you from the very beginning, and I doubt I ever will. Well, you know what? At least we can agree on that. Issei would turn his left arm into a cannon as he shot it directly at Constantine. It actually took him off guard because he didn't think that anyone, especially Issei, would have the balls to do it, as he knocked him straight through the wall and right outside. as he summoned his balance breaker and jumped into the fight. Oh! Oh, you cocky little bastard! Oh, I'm gonna enjoy kicking your ass. Constantine would cause fire from his fist as he started shooting at Issei, and Issei shooting back. Constantine would immediately jump forward as he punched Issei in the face, knocking him square across the ground and dragging him through the streets. But Issei wasn't done, as he got back up and kneed Constantine in the gut, before delivering another kick to the face. Constantine responded in kind as they both engaged in hand-to-hand combat. Constantine was easily getting the upper hand on him. After all, he had more years, more experience. "Stay out of it!" Constantine would yell. "If any of you interfere, you're gonna catch just a fraction of the ass whooping he's getting." Oh, yeah. Yeah. Now we're talking. Huh? Get up! What's the matter? Where's all that fire? It's right here! You... What? What's the matter, huh? You need a drink? Here you go! Issei grabbed hold of the flask that fell out of Constantine's jacket and smacked it upside his head, breaking it on impact. You want to know why I am Earth's champion? This is why. Constantine would then display a level of magical prowess, that of which had never been seen by any of the others. Issei found himself unable to move, completely immobilized, as Constantine walked up to him and destroyed his helmet, before repeatedly slapping him in the face, front hand and backhand. Huh? What was that, huh? You got the nerve to pull your damn balance breaker on me. Well, what you gonna do about it, kid? Huh? You wanna be a man so bad? Well, I'll show you what being a man is. Issei could feel himself slipping in and out of consciousness once again. With each hit that came to him, his vision blurring more and more. God, why? Why am I so pathetic? Do something, Issei. Do something! You had enough? You got any more things you want to say? Yeah. One thing. My mom hits harder than you. You drunk Irish bitch. Oh, is that so? Well, how about I send you straight to hell, and then I send your sweet mama and your papa to join you. Immediately, Issei broke out of the restraints, kicking Constantine into the ground, his helmet reforming around his head as he summoned his Techna sword. What was that? What did you just say to me? Aw, did I strike a nerve? Issei would go charging with his blade. Constantine was ready to counter it. But immediately the sword would disappear, as instead Issei created heavily reinforced gauntlets. The gauntlets packed quite a punch, managing to break away at a few of Constantine's magical constructed shields, before eventually getting him on the back foot as Issei started delivering lefts and rights. Who the hell do you think you are? Damn it! Well, kid, Constantine said, choking up blood on the ground. You feel better now? Damn it. Why? I know the feeling, kid. It's not your fault. You did everything you could. You did your damnedest to be a friend to that girl. In the end, she thought she was doing what was best. You can't keep holding it in. Constantine would raise himself up. With a snap of his fingers, all of his wounds were healed. This was more of a therapy session than anything else. Despite Issei's attacks, and they were indeed powerful, they were nowhere near powerful enough to do the level of damage he thought he could. Are you just gonna sit there and feel sorry for yourself? Or are you gonna man up? This isn't over. It's only just beginning. It doesn't end when you get knocked down. It ends when you stop trying. Now, I like to think that I know you well enough to know that you're a lot of things. But you're damn sure not a quitter. You didn't quit when you fought against Riser Phoenix. You gave up your own arm, for Christ's sakes. You fought against Kokobile. You managed to hold your own against Volley. You pushed back Damien Dark. So stop selling yourself short, acting like you're not good enough. You always have been. But you can always be better. Get better. Do better. Be better. That is what you're supposed to do. If you think it's over, then fine. Go home. Crawl in bed and cry. But if you still got any fight left in you, then you stand up right now and you do what needs to be done. I'm sorry, Issei wanted to apologize to everyone, but instead he flew off. Rias would call out to him as Issei flew away, but Constantine would stop her. Let him be. Right now, he needs to find himself. He's taking the first steps. That's the best thing he can do right now. In the meantime, a meeting was being held in the underworld, an emergency meeting. Constantine would oversee it as Sir Zex and Seraphal would be in presence, along with Michael and Azazel. And sitting across from them, along with Constantine, Volley Lucifer, the leader of the Chaos Brigade, along with Orpheus. I'm pleased that you were all able to arrive. I hope the travel wasn't anything unbearable. No, not at all, Orpheus would say with a grin. Though I must admit, I am surprised. I thought we were enemies now, and yet you call me to your home so happily. The situation's become a lot dire, and right now I think it's time we put aside our petty squabbles. The workings of the Chaos Brigade are all over the place, but I must ask, do you truly want the end of the world? Volley would say to himself. Of course not. I simply want to fight strong opponents. That's all. I thought the Chaos Brigade would be the fastest way of doing it, getting a chance to actually use my power for once. With all due respect, a power like mine isn't meant for peace times, and I'm sure there are many who can agree. Yes, Azazel would say, but you don't need a full-scale war for that to happen. And with what's coming, I think you'll get more than your fair share of use. And what exactly is that? I've been following a lead for the last 5 years. There's a fellow called Sebastian Blood. Technically, he's Sebastian the Ninth, but he is a descendant of the original Sebastian Blood, aka Brother Blood. Now, I know it's rather taboo to speak of, but a crazed cult leader who gained power back in the day, well, his descendant has resurfaced, and he has Raven in his foresights. From my connections, I've been able to gather this much. They have an artifact called the Blood Amulet. They plan on using it to siphon away at Trigon's power. They're going to try to kill or subdue him and take it for themselves. And where exactly did you get this information? Sir Zex would ask. I have someone who's an informant. But please understand, I can't tell you who it is. It would compromise his position, and right now all the information he can give is vital. Among them, he has powerful individuals with even more powerful sacred gears at their disposal, as well as growing a greater wide cult all around the world, the Church of Blood. What exactly does he need for this to work? Sir Zex would say. They need to create a portal that'll teleport them or bring Tartarus into this realm. A portal to Tartarus? That can't be good. It's not, Michael would say. A portal to Tartarus is quite dangerous, even with the barrier that's there. Just the miasma of negative energy alone being brought into this world. There's no telling what it could do. That's why we have to stop it. But the problem is that the process that we would need to do so, it's going to take a lot longer than you might think. How long? Technically speaking, as of today, we'd have roughly 1 Earth year, give or take a day or two or a week or two. So you say we have about a year's time, but we don't have a specific date? Sebastian's a crafty little prick. He's got hideouts and secret functions all around the globe, and even in some other dimensions as well. His operations working in different parts. Trying to hit all of them would basically be futile. It'd be like trying to find a needle in a haystack. Our best course of action is to wait until all the pieces are aligned. And then, right when they're about to enact their plan, we swoop in and we destroy it all. And I assume that the grandiose stage of their plan is going to be on Earth. Unfortunately, yes. So we only have a year's time. So why exactly am I here? Volley would say. We would like to form an alliance with the Chaos Brigade, with you and your forces, those of whom who are willing to comply at least. We think all of this infighting is petty in the grand scheme of things, especially if we're dealing with the likes of Trigon. Ooh, he's a troublesome fellow, Orpheus would say. Personally, if I had to face him, I'm not even sure if I could win, which is all the more reason why we need to stop him. That's why I'm calling for this alliance. You say that you're looking for a dimension of your own, right? A dimension where you can enjoy your peace in silence. That doesn't mean you necessarily have to go after Big Red that's in the void. Are you offering me Tartarus as a home? I wouldn't mind, but it currently has a tenant, doesn't it? That's the reason for this meeting. Trigon is a power that has gone unchecked for far too long. It's probably a long shot, but I know, if we can bring all of our forces together, focus a coordinated strike, maybe we could turn their plans into our favor. We can stop the Church of Blood, but we could also use their plans to our advantage. What if we take out Trigon? Take out Trigon, Constantine would say. That is a tough sell. At the very least, if he's weakened enough, then I'm sure that any one of us could take the shot. What about all of us? All of us might not be enough, Azazel would say. We're talking about a being that fought against the 4 great devil kings and God and beat them. It took their last remaining power just to seal him away. But they had to weaken him enough to do it. Enough time has passed, Sir Zex would say. Don't you think that our power has reached that level? Shouldn't we be capable of doing it? It's not impossible, but it's not going to be easy. That's why we need your assistance, Volley. It's all hands on deck. You say you're looking for the ultimate fight. How about Trigon? Is that enough compensation for you? Take out someone that even my great-grandfather couldn't beat. Honestly, I like the sound of that. Very well. An alliance between the Chaos Brigade and the Coalition. I believe that this could be the start of a beautiful relationship. We also have another favor to ask. Let me guess. It's about Issei, isn't it? We need to get him up to par. We can't beat Trigon alone. Not just with the power of the Red and White Dragon Emperor. We will need the power of the Blue Emperor, the Blue Scarab. Ah, so now he's the Blue Emperor, huh? He always has been. But he's never really entered into that title. Plus, you don't want all of that attention and power craze going to his head, Constantine would say. Will you please train him? Fine. If that's what you want, I'll see what I can get out of our precious Hyodo. But if he doesn't make it, it's all on him. I'm not going to hold back. And if he's not going to provide me with what I'm looking for, I'm not wasting my time. It's all we can ask of you. Well then, Sir Zex would say, forming this alliance. It's definitely not something I had on the docket. These are desperate times. And desperate times call for desperate measures. Well then, I think we can all agree that this meeting is adjourned. Now if you'll excuse me, I've got a sweet little rendezvous to get to in Kyoto. And will your rendezvous happen to be with a certain Valkyrie? Azazel would ask. No, Azazel. You know a man never kisses and tells. As everyone would take their leave, Azazel would be left with Sir Zex. Once the rooms were clear and they made sure that no one else was around, another door would open as Carter would make his way in. Ah, yes, the man of the hour, Booster Gold. You wanted to see me, sir? Booster would ask. Yes, please, have a seat. We are under the impression that you will be able to use time travel technology in a year's time. Yes, sir. Yes, I will. It's my sacred gear. It takes about a year to charge, so I won't be able to use it till then. Why do you ask? Things are being put into motion, but we actually have something for you privately. Just consider this a failsafe, Sirzex would say. I'm hoping for the best, but as a king, I would be foolish if I didn't prepare for the worst. It's understandable. I've seen worse. I know. And that's why what I'm about to tell you is top secret. No one else can know about it. Honestly, assuming that it even comes to pass, you might not even have to do it. And what exactly do I have to do? If the worst case scenario is to happen a year from now, if Trigon is to be freed and we have no way of stopping it, you must survive and go back to the past. Not too far back though, Azazel would say. I'd say about a year's time maybe, or two. Whatever time works. You need to go to the past. And you need to kill Raven. Kill Raven? That's a lot. I mean, if it gets that bad, then we really don't have any other option. Right now, we're coming at this with our best foot forward. If we fail, then that means our best wasn't enough. And no amount of planning could change that. That's why we're putting it on you. Unfortunately, we don't really have much of a choice. No, I understand. It's just, if they were to ever find out about this, and that's why they're not going to find out, Azazel would say. They can't learn about it under any circumstance. They'd never allow it. But quite frankly, at that point, I can't say I really give a damn what they'll allow or not. You have to do what's necessary to save the future, at least a future. Very well. If we can't beat Trigon, then I'll do what I must. This concludes High School DxD Fallen Hero. What if Issei was the Blue Beetle? Season 3, Part 5, the Season 3 finale. First, as always, I want to say thank you to everyone who's been following along with this series. This is one of the more earlier stories that we did in the anime DC Comics universe. I remember it was suggested to me a while ago, and honestly, I didn't think I'd get as far with it as I have. Now, as far as what the future holds for this series, I do have a movie that I want to do, maybe a movie or two, but I can't figure out which one I want to do, but I know there will be a movie. And as far as how many more seasons this story will have, I would say that at most, maybe one or two more. I've been debating, do I want the series to end at season 4? But I think that I want to do a season 4 kind of like as a way to set up the closing season. So in likelihood, next year, I will probably do seasons 4 and 5, and that will wrap up this series as a whole. Because I have seen the popularity has started to decline, but I feel like I've gotten too far to really cancel this story, so I want to see it through till the end. Also, once I'm done with this series, I am going to be introducing another Blue Beetle into the franchise, kind of like just to have different Blue Beetles to kind of choose my options. Because while this one is good, I feel like I could do better with Blue Beetle down the line. And I know that there is technically a second Blue Beetle that's featured in the Robin Familiar of Zero story, but that's more of a side character than anything else. So when it's all said and done, we're looking at maybe 3 Blue Beetles in the anime DC comic universe, but each one will vary and be different. So, with this series, all in all, thank you all for following along with Season 3. Like I always say, can't do it without you. You make the channel grow. You make the core grow. And stay tuned next week as we start the What If Wonder Woman Was in Dragon Ball, and we continue and finish with the Cell Saga. So, hope you guys are staying tuned for that. Excited for that one as well. And for everything else that's to come out now and in the future. But anyway, that's going to do it for the end of today's video. I'm Javon Harrington with Power Core Productions and Podcastings, signing off, and I'll see you next time.